Inventories is an accounting of a deceased person's personal items with a value given for the items. From an inventory, we can estimate a person's approximate date of death. Usually an inventory was done within a few months of the person's death because the items usually need to be given or sold to others. This video will show you how to find inventories in Family Search and show you a few examples of items found in the inventories. Okay, today I want to do inventories, show you how to find them in Family Search. So we go to Search and go to Catalog, and that's where I'm at here. And we make sure we click Online, and then we've got to put the place in. I'm going to do Barron County, Kentucky. And it comes up, and I click on that. And you can find them under probate records. And this one has the wills, general index to wills, but if we come down here we see we have wills and inventories, and it gives the date, so if you need it before that. Here's mixed probate, you might be able to find some inventories in there. So let's click here, and we're going to come down here to inventories. Right here, click on that, and I looked for an index at the front of this. I did not see one. Now I can't remember exactly which one it was, but let me go here to, okay, so I want to show you here, this one on the inventories. Most of the probate records, the wills, the inventories, guardianship, they will put the person's name over here. This is for Asa Young, and it says they usually tell the person and that they are deceased, and then they're going to list the items that they owned. A library of books, and this gives you the worth. It was worth, he had a lot of books because it was worth $100. 2 bureaus, $20 each, so that came to $40. One box, knives and forks, $15. A bedstead and 3 beds, $50. I haven't looked at this beforehand, so I'm not sure what all of these are. We've got chairs. Here's some cows, it looks like, 1 sheet, bed clothing, a looking glass, yarn and buttons. So his total came to $1,647.80. Anyways, so from these inventories, it's really kind of fun to look at them and see what your ancestors owned. And that's pretty much, you're going to find out that they have died by the time of the inventory, and usually at the end of the inventory it will give the date. Well, see here we have some dates, 1860, 1860, 1861, 1862, and some names. So he either owed somebody or they owed him, and that is really usually called an accounts current, when they're talking about other people and what they owe them. Sometimes they're mixed up, kind of like this one is. Let me see if I can find a date on this. So really we're looking at an account current here. We've got all these people now. The accounts currents give you more people that they dealt with, family and neighbors. I don't want to go too far. Here's a wagon. Anyways, that's finding it in Barron County, Kentucky. Right here I wanted to show you Morgan, Indiana, so I did the online and I did Morgan, Indiana. And we come down to probate records, and what I wanted to show you here, I was trying to look for some inventories and where they might be, but I wanted to show you what happens here. Come here and you get the little camera with the key over it, meaning they're locked. So let me click on one of them. Sometimes it works when you do it, but so these have to be accessed in a family history center or a family search affiliate library. So if you have a major library that has a genealogy library, you can call them and ask them if they are an affiliate with Family Search. And you can go to the library to view these records. And it appears, because, let me go back, that most of these records are that way. I did the probate estate records also, and it was one, and it is the same thing. You can't see it from home. So I wanted to show you that sometimes you're going to face that. You still can view them. And also the other thing is, when you are looking at it, notice here, this one says it's item 3. So when you go to the microfilm and you just start looking, it's not going to be the first one. You have to find the item on it, the third different category of records that's on that microfilm. So I just wanted to show you what you might encounter. All right, this one is Pennsylvania, Virginia. I put that in and did the online. Come here and I'm going to do the probate records, accounts, currents, and inventories. And here there are a lot of them. So let's look at this one, 1812 to 1824. And what I wanted to show you here is, and this is common in many of these probate records, is that they give you an index of the people who have passed away. Now, if there's an account current, then there's probably a lot of other people listed in there, and those people are not going to be listed in this inventory. This is just the deceased person. So let's look at this. So we have Alan Hartwell. It's an inventory, and it's on page 89. We go down, here's an allotment of dowry. There's another inventory, INVY, for James Anderson, Thomas Anderson, another inventory. Okay, I will talk about some of these other ones. This video is about the inventories, but this is how you can find an inventory if you want. Here's some more. Inventory, 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 and then it gives you the page number. So that's how you find it. If I would always look at the beginning of the record and see if there is an index, and you might be able to find your ancestor in that index. Most inventories are for males, but occasionally one is found for a female. Remember to look on the left side for the name. This inventory is for Grace King, a female in Pennsylvania, Virginia. Let's take a look at her inventory. The inventory starts at the bottom of the page. Only one item is listed, one bed and furniture. This is the next page of Grace's inventory. Notice at the top that it says brought forward. Here are more items, 5 chairs, 1 spinning wheel, 1 smoothing iron. My guess is that that is an iron for clothes. Then 2 different skillets. This just gives you an idea of what you might find. This is an inventory for a male from Pennsylvania, Virginia, about 1815. Notice the names at the top of the inventory. These are slaves. Slaves were usually listed at the top because they're usually worth the most, but occasionally they are found somewhere else in the inventory. The slaves are listed with only a first name. On rare occasion, I have seen slaves listed with the last name. This makes it hard to trace them, but this is one of the few places these people are listed with a name. If you by some chance can find the owners of your ancestors, who were slaves, then inventories might be a good source to find them. Animals often come after the slaves. Let's look at a few of the items that are listed next. 1 yoke of steers, 9 head of large cattle, and 5 small cattle. 1 cart, 14 hogs, 9 sheep, and 1 sorrel horse. Here is an estate in 1813 in Pennsylvania, Virginia for David F. Patrick. This was very unusual, but delightful if someone can find they are related to these slave families. The mothers are listed and then their children. Someone cared enough about these families to make sure they were listed as families. There were many other families listed. My guess is they wanted the families to stay together. Here is how I transcribed the names of 2 of the families. Amy or Annie, Annis her son, Hannah her daughter, Matthew her son, Betty her daughter. Lucy, Sarah her daughter, Hannah her daughter, Henry her son, Eliza her daughter. Here is an estate in 1813 in Pennsylvania, Virginia for Ralph S. Calland. Notice in this that many are listed with a description that lets you know if they are male or female. You can usually tell from their name if they are male or female, but the description is nice. My question here is, are the 3 men listed the husbands of the 3 women with children listed? Here's my transcription. Frank, Negro man. Squire, Negro man. The diddle marks means the same as above. Jerry, Negro man. Christina. Lucinda and child David. Betty and child Delilah. Dacus, a little girl. Mary, a little girl. Molly, a woman. Ned, a small boy. And Mary, a girl. Here is an estate in 1813 in Pennsylvania, Virginia for Major Peter Wilson with my transcription of the top line. Notice that it says Major. This is a clue that he probably served in one of the wars, so if you are related to Peter Wilson, you might want to check war records. His slaves are all listed in families. I will not transcribe each name, but I will give the mother's name for the first few families listed and how many were in each family. This is very unusual to find families listed like this. Inventories can be very surprising what you find. Eddie and children, 8. Old Betty, 1. Prissy and children, 7. Notice how the double S is written for Prissy. Esther and children, 4. Leek and children, 4. Rebecca and children, 4. Lisa and children, 4. It would be so nice if all the slave families were listed like this, but this is very unusual. Here is an estate in 1813 in Pennsylvania, Virginia for Isaac Coles. In this inventory, all the slaves are listed with name and age. For William, it states, not 1 year. I personally think that inventories, if they are ever indexed by each name in the inventories, it will be a great benefit to helping people find their ancestors who were slaves. I hope these few examples inspires people to attempt to look at inventories. Now let's see if you can figure out some of the items found in inventories. Here are a few items found in some different inventories. See if you can read them. Dutch oven, table, blanket, plow hose, beehives, and a bread basket. Inventories are usually hard to read and tedious to look through, but it is fun to see some of the items your ancestors owned. Happy hunting!